Meet Michael Levin, the wizard behind groundbreaking research in cellular intelligence and bioelectricity. Bioelectricity isn't just a buzzword, it's the language cells use to communicate and shape our bodies. Imagine, cells talking to each other, deciding where an arm should grow or healing a damaged organ. This isn't in your DNA, it's in the electric signals guiding cellular behavior. Levin's research highlights how bioelectric signals can store information that DNA alone can't.
In fact, what we also discovered is that tissues have anatomical memory. So here's a planarian, and normally when you cut a planarian into pieces, every piece gives rise to a normal flatworm, one head, one tail. Now we can perturb briefly this bioelectric circuit after cutting and confuse the piece about how many heads it's supposed to have. In fact, we can reset that bioelectric pattern to dictate having two heads. And in fact, the middle piece here has grown, you can see that here, has grown two heads. But the most amazing thing is that if you then again take the middle piece out of that worm and culture it again in plain water with no more manipulation of any kind and simply let it regenerate, it will once again make a two-headed animal, despite the fact that it has a normal genome, a normal genomic sequence that we have not edited. And so in perpetuity, as far as we can tell forever, every time you cut these worms, you get a two-headed animal. So think about what this means. The pattern to which these cells build after damage can be rewritten, can be bioelectrically respecified towards two heads, and in fact now we can set it back to normal as well, in a way that only changes the information stored in this electrical circuit. The DNA is completely normal. We have not changed the genomic sequence of this animal. So we have now found that some information is present in the physiological circuit that is not directly in the genome, and this physiological circuit can store information that is changeable by us. Now, what we've developed are ways to control these electrical properties in cells using pharmacology and light. So we use drugs to open and close these ion channels that are proteins that produce electrical signaling in every cell. And we can use these drugs together with light stimulation to provide various kinds of electrical pre-patterns. There's something very important about the relationship between the mind and the body. It was found that planaria that are taught a particular fact, such as that food can be found in a certain spot in their environment, can then recall this fact even after their heads are amputated and grow back. So the information that a planarian picks up during its lifetime is stored throughout the body, and this information is imprinted on a brand new brain when the head regenerates. This is telling us that there's a profound relationship between the information that is learned throughout the lifetime of a creature and the body structure that forms its various organs, including its brain. What really is a memory? How is it stored, encoded, decoded, and propagated from various body tissues into the brain and vice versa? This addresses not only profound topics in the philosophy of mind, but also the biomedicine of degenerative brain disease, because at some point, human patients will have cellular therapies delivered into their brain, and we need to understand what will happen to the personality and the memory of such patients. So these model systems are helping us to understand some very basic questions about memory, personal identity, and the controls of organ structure.
This means we can potentially reprogram cells to regenerate tissues and organs, ushering in a new era of regenerative medicine. Think of bioelectricity as the conductor of a cellular orchestra directing the symphony of life. By harnessing this power, we could tackle everything from birth defects to traumatic injuries. The future of medicine is electric, and Michael Levin is leading the charge. Want to know more? Stay tuned and let's electrify our understanding of biology together.